Tremendously disappointing season. Not nearly good enough. I think we all know that. We came into this year with, deservedly so, very high expectations, and we didn't come close to meeting them. And I'm keenly aware of that. I'm the architect of the team. I'm responsible for it. I understand how frustrated our fan base is. I understand how frustrated everyone in this building is today, everyone associated with the Mets. And we got to do better. And I'm committed to moving us forward and doing better.
We put in work, turning nothing into something. They feelings hurt, we turning nothing into something. Give a fuck if they don't like me, cause all this bread I count excites me. Turning nothing to something, nothing into something. Turning nothing into something.
What up? What's going on, everybody? What is going on? My bad, man. Had technical difficulties all over the place for whatever reason. This computer wants to crash nowadays, and it did just that right before we got started. But thank you for everybody that's joining us. And it's gonna be a little quick thing, but just wanted to have a quick conversation and react a little bit to, what we've seen going on, what's been coming out in the news the last couple of days, I guess. And the first thing is, I did want to get into in depth the whole David Stearns presser, but it's been a couple of days now. I really don't have that much time. The presser itself was 30 plus minutes, and I wanted to go in there and listen along so we could react to it firsthand. But just my reaction to that, I'll get into a second. I also wanted to comment, and some people may have heard, if you're in the spaces with me, my thoughts on how Peter Alonso answered the question on Sunday night after the Mets were eliminated, and some people took exception to it. And everybody's right to their own opinion and to their own feelings. You know what I'm saying? But I did want to react to that a little bit and give my 2 cents, give my blunt thoughts, and as well as hear some of you guys that maybe don't come into the spaces and stuff like that and just come into the YouTube, which I appreciate that special crowd as well. And thank you to everybody that's subscribed. We're almost there. We're almost at 500, just 9 away. But anyways, and the other thing is, the latest, and to me it's not the latest because it's something that we speculated on all year, and some people don't like it, some people don't like to talk about it, but it was obvious to see that maybe there was some discomfort, right? And I had some fun here, and I put tension between Lindor and Soto, and honestly, that's not what it was, ladies and gentlemen. And at the end of the day, is it a big deal? We'll find out. We'll get into it a little bit, and I'll share my thoughts on that. But yeah, I think, you know how we do here in Blunt Thoughts. We're going to be all over the place. So you would think we're going to start again with, well, yeah, with David Stearns and the press conference. And for me, listen, I thought he was accountable. Matter of fact, let's go back real quick and listen to the next 30 seconds or so before he starts taking questions. Let's go back to that real quick. Here we go.
We'll have ample time here, I'm sure, to discuss the what and the why. I'll start off up top with a few of my overarching observations.
The Jimenez family are having battery issues. But a friendly AutoZoner tests their battery and helps them find the right Duralast battery to get back on the road.
Obviously, since we're getting this from YouTube, YouTube does whatever the hell it wants to do. We'll get back to that in a second. Ugh, that sucked. That's not a good start. That is not a good
run
start.
prevention side of the ball. We didn't do a good enough job of fortifying our team when we had injuries midseason. Clearly, that was
just bring it back real quick.
A point.
I thought that was important.
Forward and doing better. We'll have ample time here, I'm sure, to discuss the what and the why. I'll start off up top with a few of my overarching observations. From a roster construction perspective on the run prevention side of the ball, we didn't do a good enough job of fortifying our team when we had injuries midseason. Clearly, that was a point in our season where on the run prevention side of things, we went from a very good team to a team that wasn't good enough to maintain a sizable lead, not only in the division, but in the playoff chase. Our defense wasn't good enough, and that certainly contributed to our pitching challenges. And then offensively, we had a number of players who had really good years, but we failed to score the runs that we needed to score despite those really good years. And so you add all that up, and you get to a team that underachieved greatly. We know that. I certainly know that. And we're going to work really hard to fix that going forward, learn from this, and do a heck of a lot better. So happy to answer any and all questions.
Listen, for me, I thought that was fair. I thought he took responsibility. I thought he acknowledged, they made mistakes. Obviously, that's part of taking responsibility. And we need to be better. And for whatever reason, people, this is not enough to people. You know what I'm saying? And again, I don't want to go through the whole press conference and the questions and the whole run prevention thing and how he harped on that. And I guess that bothers people. But that was always a thing. That was always a thing since he took over, was the whole run prevention nonsense, right? That was the focus of David Stearns, run prevention. So it's no surprise that he's going to talk about that again. The problem is, like he said, the roster construction was not good. Now, what are you going to do about it, right? We saw it all season play out. We talked about it all season. David Stearns screwed up. Some people were saying it from April. Some people were saying it from the offseason. We didn't like the moves, right? Now, some of us, like myself, say, you know what? I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because everything worked out last season. So how can I lose my mind? Obviously, now as it plays out, you have to revisit your opinion, Hector. And I may not be as lenient this year. But credit to those who stayed on it, who didn't buy into the pitching early on, who said this is not sustainable. Now, part of it not being sustainable is because of the injuries, right? Because while all that was going on at first, and we knew some guys were in over their heads. Who believes in Tyler McGill? Nobody. Very little Met fans believe in Tyler McGill. Maybe my guy, the Schlau. I don't know if you're watching. He's a big Tyler McGill guy. But besides that, most Met fans say, listen, make Tyler McGill a reliever. Put him in the bullpen. So everybody expected for the other shoe to drop with Tyler McGill. and it dropped how it usually always drops. The production dips, and then an injury comes up. Good luck to him with his Tommy John. You had Griffin Canning pitching way over his head. Or I don't want to say way over his head, but way over the numbers that he had shown before. So again, everybody expecting the shoe to drop. And I remember going back where these guys did a press conference separately, both Mendoza and David Stearns, and the media was asking them about, hey, listen, you guys are maybe overachieving as far as pitching. Are you worried that there will be some downturn from that or whatever the case may be? And both of them, I felt were very arrogant. If you follow on Blunt Thoughts, if you watch Blunt Thoughts, you know I kept saying that. I don't like these guys' arrogance. But again, even then, we were expecting Sean Manaea and Kodai Senga to pick up the slack. And unfortunately, that didn't happen. Kodai did it for a while, then got hurt and was never the same. Sean Manaea was never able to come back soon enough. And when he did, he really wasn't any good. Let's be honest. So those are big factors. But also, as he acknowledged, and something that I always harped on, proactive instead of reactive. Proactive instead of reactive. We see all the reports now about whether the Mets were not involved, whether they didn't want to go far enough to be able to get a Garrett Crochet or not. Right? I've talked about, hey, listen, you call teams and you make them feel that they called you. Make them feel that they called you, that they want to make the trade, even though they're telling you they don't want to. Oh, no, Hector, you got to wait. Oh, no, Hector, you can't make a trade now. You got to wait till the trade deadline. And then we're going crazy because we didn't do anything to address the team. Proactive instead of reactive. To some people, they got upset. They get upset because he says that. Well, no, I am actually happy. Not that we've been operating like that. Because you're smarter than me. I'm not the Ivy School grad. I'm just a loudmouth fan. But I know enough to know that you can't just react to everything. But the fact that they now acknowledge it, that makes me happy. Now you got to do something about it. You got to do something about it. But at least you've acknowledged your flaws, you've acknowledged your shortcomings, and that's all I can ask for at this point. We can't go back and change 2025. The season is done with. It stunk. It stunk. From June 12 on, it was not fun being a Met fan, no matter how you slice it. And if you really think about it, the entire season wasn't fun because, again, we kept waiting for the other shoe to drop. And if we weren't waiting for the other shoe to drop, we were fighting people off that were waiting for the other shoe to drop. We were waiting for a Sean Manaea. We were waiting for, hopefully, we're going to make a trade and address certain things. We kept waiting for us to start hitting with runners in scoring position. It was more of an anxiety season than anything else. It was anxiety. That's all it was. Waiting. Before you knew it, it was August, September coming around, and I was like, oh, gosh, I don't feel like I've even enjoyed this season. And now it's hard as hell to enjoy it. But yeah, as far as the depth, Solano, I saw you mention the depth a little earlier there in the comments. And shout out to everybody in the comments. My fucking guy Kweisi ready to go. Unbelievable. The depth was always questionable. The depth was always questionable, ladies and gentlemen. Think about who the depth was. Sean Manaea. Who is Sean Manaea? Let's not forget, Sean Manaea, that was a guy that was between a starter and a bullpen. Is he good? Is he not good? early on in 2024, we weren't happy with Sean Manaea. We were like, what the hell is this? Low risk, high reward that's giving us low reward. And then Sean Manaea changed his arm angle, blah, blah, blah. Sean Manaea started performing better. Even some of us got overexcited maybe about Sean Manaea because almost all of us fans wanted Sean Manaea back, right? Kodai Senga, again, question marks. Who the hell is Kodai Senga? When he's healthy, he seems to be great, but is he ever going to be healthy enough? Right? David Peterson. Who was David Peterson? Is David Peterson the guy that came back from the hip surgery and looked to be a solid number 2, maybe 3 starter? And dare I say, because Hector's a dope, can you graduate to be a freaking maybe an ace? But question marks. Shout out to Anthony McCarron, who did the preseason preview with me. And when I brought it up, said, yeah, Hector, but you got to understand, that would be a big step in innings for David Peterson. Will he be able to sustain that? Well, we saw David Peterson couldn't make it to the end of the year. Was that because of the innings jump? Is that because he sucks? I don't know. But question marks. We brought up Frankie Montas. Do we have to talk about Frankie Montas? Nobody wanted Frankie Montas. Question mark. We brought up Clay Holmes, who was making a big transition from a reliever to a starter. That's a question mark in and of itself. It was so much of a question mark that we dealt all season with people saying Clay Holmes needs to go to the bullpen. Clay Holmes, when we look back at it, was probably our best starter all year because he was the most consistent. And he actually finished through to the end. And in game 161, gave us the start that we needed. But came in as a question mark. Griffin Canning came in with a 11 ERA, whatever the hell it was. Griffin Canning is a question mark just because he played for the Angels. Who the hell trusts anybody that played for the Angels? And who in the East Coast really watches the Angels? For what? So all we see with Griffin Canning are numbers, question mark. And Tyler McGill, we mentioned earlier, question mark. So that was your depth. But yeah, Randy, you're right. It's crazy how we actually believed in this rotation. Cindy, you're right. To be fair, Peterson is a number 3 or 4. He was pushed to the max. Absolutely. We could say the same thing about Clay Holmes. We were going crazy about Clay Holmes because we were asking too much of him, because other guys weren't stepping up, because other guys were injured. But when you put those guys where they belong, as maybe the 4 or 5, 3 or 5, 3 and 4, those two guys had pretty good years. Maybe if the depth stayed healthy, and injuries happen, you could have given guys more of a break. Skip the start here and there. Absolutely, Cindy, reclamation projects for sure. Oh, listen, Junior, you know there's not one thing. Yeah, the pitching was an issue. The pitching was probably the main issue, but the offense, the offense has been a problem for a long time, especially when we talk about runners in scoring position. Absolutely. I kept asking, the offense needs to carry this team. The offense needs to refuse to lose. Unfortunately, they were never good enough. That's possible, Armand. That's possible, yeah. The pitching lab. But we had reason to believe, right? They gave us reason to believe. Opposite of 2025, where I kept saying, there's no reason. Don't tell me to believe. Because if I really tell you what I believe this team sucks. Coming up for 2024, they gave us some reason to believe. The pitching lab looked like it was the greatest thing on earth. All the talk about finally the Mets are catching up and passing teams with their pitching lab. with the production that we got last season. But we relied too much on that. We relied too much on that, and we ignored talent. See, the pitching lab also depends on what you put in the lab. You can't put total crap in the lab and expect to get gold. You know what I'm saying? You got to put the ingredients for gold in order to come out with gold. So when you put a Sean Manaea in the lab, there's been something there. Maybe you get something. When you put a Luis Severino in the lab, there's been something very good there. You're going to get something. But when you throw a Frankie Montas in there, and it's a rotten Frankie Montas, what the hell are you going to get? You know? But again, the injuries, big part of it. Because out of the pitching lab, come Nolan McLean, which we are excited about. Brandon Sproul, which we are excited about. Jonathan, whom we should still be excited about, even though he has some hiccups and obviously showed that he needs more time in the minors and in the lab at the lower levels. But maybe the lab just needs to be adjusted. Let's be honest here. And another thing that we heard in the Mendoza press conference, in the David Stearns press conference, which he wasted no time with, and I was glad that he didn't, was answering the question about whether Carlos Mendoza would be back. And I love that like he answered it. Direct and to the point. I think it's coming up here. Let's listen in real quick.
And that's on me.
And are you prepared to say that Carlos will definitely be the manager next year?
Yeah, Carlos is coming back next year.
Carlos coming back next year. And that's that. But what he didn't say was that the rest of the coaching staff was coming back. And he shouldn't say that. But to me, it was important that if Carlos Mendoza was coming back, that he didn't waste no time and he made it clear in that press conference. None of this, we're going to evaluate everything. We're going to evaluate this. We're going to evaluate that. But we like Carlos. And no, either he's coming back or he wasn't coming back. So to me, that was perfect. Now he took the evaluate and all of that with the coaches. And we saw already today that Sherlock, the catching instructor, retired. Okay. But to me, it was important to nip it in the butt right away as far as Carlos Mendoza and say that he was coming back. Now, again, I know that also upset some people. And listen, some people will say, let's look at this guy, this flip-flopper, this and this and that. Whatever, man. I wasn't off Mendoza as some early, and I'm not off Mendoza, but I did make some videos on Sunday because I was frustrated. And I was frustrated with the last month and a half, 2 months, and how the season was playing out and how he wasn't able to put a stop to it. So even when I did my recap of whatever the hell I did on Sunday, one of the videos I did, I said, you know what? It's time to even look at the manager. We may even look at the manager and have to make a change there. But once I calmed down, no, we didn't need to change the manager. Is he a perfect manager? Absolutely not. Does he need to make changes? Hell yeah. And he acknowledged that. He acknowledged that in the postgame on Sunday. He knows he needs to make changes. But I'm good. I'm good with Mendoza coming back, and I was glad that was taken care of right away. But maybe a Jeremy Hefner is someone that we need to look at. Let's be honest. Before all of the miracles last season, nobody was really high on Jeremy Hefner. It was like, what the hell is this guy doing? What is he doing? Now, Mendy does need to tighten up. I'm sure a lot of you have too. I've read a couple of articles. I read an article in The Athletic. I think it was Tim Brennan and Will Salmon, combination of both of them. And some of the players were quoted as saying, listen, there were certain things that showed some panic from Mendy. There might have been some communication issues. Well, Mendy needs to clean that up. Again, if you participate in blunt thoughts, I said many a times, I said it in the spaces, I said it on the streams. When everybody was calling, you got to change this, you got to do this, you got to change that. I said, listen, ladies and gentlemen, you can't just change things left and right because it shows panic. It shows panic to the fans. It shows panic to your team. Eventually, yes, some changes needed to be made, but there was too much. There was too much. The way the bullpen was handled showed panic. The way some starters were pulled showed panic. The lineup changes showed panic. And then communication. See, sometimes it was great when he first made the lineup change, right? And moved Soto from 2 to 3 and moved Nimmo back up, whatever the hell he did. And he spoke to Pete Alonso privately, and he spoke to Juan Soto privately on the plane and all that good stuff. And that showed great communication with your stars, with your big guns. But you also got to communicate with the 26 men on the roster. Were they communicating with Ronnie Mauricio as to what he should be doing and what he should be learning? Because it sure as hell didn't seem like it. It sure as hell didn't seem like it when he was forced into duty there in the last week or so and looked totally unprepared most of the time. But I don't know. Did we expect David Stearns to say this guy sucked, that guy sucked? He acknowledged that the trade deadlines didn't work. Right? He acknowledged the trade deadline moves didn't work for the most part. He acknowledged evaluating that process as to how they came to those decisions and also evaluating how they can make the environment better for when you bring guys in. Whatever. Get better players. How about that? Get better players. Get better players. And stop ignoring the it factor. Stop ignoring the it factor. You ignored it all off season by not bringing none of the it guys back. You didn't bring a Severino back. You didn't bring an Iglesias back. You didn't bring a Bader back. You had an opportunity to go get better than a Bader at the trade deadline, and instead you went and got Cedric Mullins. You ignored the it factor. You ignored it, and it was screaming at you all season. It was screaming at you all season. Now, when we talk about the it factor, as we try to move on from that, I want to read along an article here from Disha Thozard, Fox Sports. She used to do daily news, The Athletic, all that. I mean, daily news, and she's now with Fox Sports. But I think I always thought she was fair. And it starts, and I'm gonna read some of it, and I got some things that I highlight. Kweisi got a little ahead of me, but before that, it starts for all the problems the Mets had in their disappointing season. Before we get into that, one of the reasons I read this, I forget when I read this, 2 days ago, a day ago, when it first came out, I read this. When this first came out, I read this, and I wanted to do this build towards yesterday, and I wasn't able to, and I was going to talk about this. For a couple of days, Al Cintron, Theo Al on X or whatever. Al Cintron, right? I think he hosts on WFAN. I know he hosts on WFAN as a part-timer, overnights and stuff like that. Good stuff, whatever. He's been teasing for a couple of days about how he has some information. I got some information. I'm just trying to make sure that everything is in line before I share it. Well, the information that he shared had to do with Francisco Lindor and Juan Soto and how maybe I don't want to say not getting along, but I don't even want to pull this crap up, so I don't care if I'm misquoting him. Right? But the point is that was stuff that it wasn't no source. If he had a source, it's the same source that Disha Tozar had because she already had that in her story. And my thing is this. My thing is this. If you watched this damn team, you knew everything wasn't great. And not that there were problems. And like we always said on Blunt Thoughts, not that even that's a problem, that's natural. From the beginning, we talked about here on Blunt Thoughts how you think somebody signing for the contract that Juan Soto signed is not going to impact that clubhouse? You don't think the other guys are going to look like, holy crap, this guy's getting a suite, this, and that, and whatever the hell he got. Some of it is outlandish, some of it is not true, whatever. But we know he got stuff that not everybody gets. But who cares? Who cares? They're still strong personalities. Right? We saw when Francisco Lindor came in, how it disrupted the leadership, whether we liked it or not. That's not the point. But it disrupted what was already there. And it took time. It took time for that to break up and for Lindor to find himself and for the clubhouse to find itself and so on and so forth. And the leadership group of Lindor and Brandon Nimmo and then whoever filled in developed. And now you bring in Juan Soto. Right? And the reality is it's two different personalities. It's two totally different personalities. Whether we want to acknowledge it or not. But anyways, let's read a little bit of the article here. Starts out, for all the problems the Mets had in their disappointing season, falling one win short of the playoffs after being 21 games above 500 in June, David Stearns believes a lack of leadership was not one of them. I think we have leaders in our clubhouse, the Mets president of baseball operations said on Monday at City Field. I think we have leadership in our clubhouse. I think our players work their tails off. I think they came to the park with the right attitude every single day, and it didn't work. So I need to take a long, hard look at our roster. That comes from that press conference that we just watched a little bit of. Now, this is what you see here on the screen. For years now, Francisco Lindor and Brandon Nimmo have assumed leadership responsibilities on the Mets. Nimmo, the longest tenured Met, prefers to have quieter, one-on-one conversations with teammates. Lindor is known for his more outgoing, friendly, and easygoing communication style. They bring different things to the table, and they've grown to become close teammates. Multiple players stepping up and leading is a staple of these Mets. Again, they're the head, and that's why I always said, when we talk about captain, they should be co-captains. But then last year, we saw a Jose Iglesias step up and be a leader. We saw a J.D. Martinez step up and be a leader. We even saw Sean Manaea be somewhat of a leader, and the Luis Severino. Who was the first one with the OMG holding them? It was Sevy. Right? That's a form of leadership. That's a form of bringing everybody together. Sometimes that's needed. See, what happened on the 2025 Mets, somebody who doesn't do that naturally had to step up and do that. And credit to him. And shout out to him, Starlin Marte, for taking on that role. But to other guys, it comes natural. Right? Despite the steady pressure, this year's Mets team didn't display the tight chemistry we saw from the magic of the 2024 team that was 2 games short of the World Series. Some of that was to be expected when veteran players like Jose Iglesias and J.D. Martinez, loaded as positive influences in the clubhouse, were not signed to return to the Mets. Right? But does that surprise anybody? Hey, there's some of that too. There is. I was saying it all year. There's nobody there to challenge the guys. And they talk about, executing a game plan and this and this and that. But I'm talking about challenging. And when we listen to Pete in a little while, we're going to see some of the stuff that I've been talking about. Pete, to me, has some of the best comments I've ever heard from Peter Alonso in that post game on Sunday. But he talked about how sometimes maybe we need to look at the process and the work being put in and not just be comfortable in the fact that, oh, the work is being put in the process, and evaluate if that's the proper way to do it. Shout out to you, Pete. About damn time. Let's see. Where we go? Oh, and we move on. It says, but another high-profile figure entered the picture this season. In December, Juan Soto joined the fold when he signed a 15-year contract to play in Queens. Soon, the superstar's business-like personality and own style of leadership became a part of the team's chemistry. I always want to help in any way I can, Soto said last week at Citi Field. Definitely, I'm not the guy that is going to be on you all the time. But definitely, when you have a question or any thoughts that I can help with, I'll be open to do it. So that's the kind of player I am. And that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. See, not everybody's the leader the way that we think they're a leader. Some guys lead by example. Some guys lead just by with their production, right? And those two go hand in hand, right? Like a guy like Juan Soto, like, we know he works hard. So you see somebody like that working hard, what are you going to do? Some guys will ignore it. Some guys will ignore it and still be lazy bums, and their play will show it. But most guys, if they have any pride, will follow. Right? And then obviously his production leads. And the way he produces makes you want to produce as well. That's a form of leadership. Quiet leadership. We saw that Brandon Nimmo's way of leadership is one-on-one, quietly. Lindor maybe a little bit more out there, you know? Oh, man. Gigi, I'm not even going to get there. Anyways, we move on. We're spending too much time on this. It goes on to say players looked up to Soto, respected the way he carried himself this season. The outfielder finished the year with the third highest OPS, 921 in the National League. Ronnie Mauricio said, especially me, for a young player, we learn a lot from him. Mauricio said of Soto, just watching him every day, how he works, how he plays every day, I want to be like him. So I spend more time with him. Edwin Diaz, as a teammate, we love him. He's pushing everyone to be better because every time he's doing such amazing things on the field. As a player, you want to help him to win. Every time he hits a home run to take the lead as a pitcher, I'm fired up to get those 3 outs to give the team a chance to win. So again, different ways of leading. Different ways of leading. You guys, some of you guys are funny, man. Some of you guys are funny. Here's Soto. Oh no, here's Marte. Uh-oh. Oh boy. I knew this game was going to be a slugfest between the Yankees and the Red Sox. Here's Marte. While most players accepted Soto's reclusive personality, Starling Marte. No, my bad. I'm sorry. I apologize, guys. I apologize. Before that, we had Lindor. I apologize. Lindor says he's away from the world. It's him, his family, his little group, and then that's it. He comes in and out. He shares moments with us, but he said it multiple times. I'm quiet. I just want to come in, win, do my thing. That's just who he is. He's just in and out, in and out, in and out, and that's perfectly fine. Is it perfectly fine when you say in and out, in and out, in and out 3 times? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. At the end of the day, not everyone needs to be this big personality. We all love him. We respect how he's gone about it. He makes us better. Now, here's the thing for me. This is how I see it, right? And again, what really matters at the end of the day is production, right? What really matters is production. So, as long as he puts up his numbers, it shouldn't matter. But we know when we get into the numbers, we're not even gonna get into that. But he's coming to a team. He's coming to a team again that we've talked about the core. We've talked about the chemistry of the team. We talked about whether there were issues for the last few years. And then now, finally, last season, it found itself. It found its leadership ladder. It found its niche. It found little things that they like to have fun with, whether it be taking a picture after the home runs and all that good stuff. Right? And then you bring a guy in, like, let's be honest. I thought coming in that Juan Soto was more of a playful personality, you know what I'm saying? While also being a business first guy. But you bring this total business guy that he tried to be when he got here. Maybe it was the contract. Because I don't care what anybody says. The Soto we saw, especially early on in the season, is not the same Soto we saw in Washington, in San Diego, or in the Yankees, where he was loose. Well, he was part of celebrations. Well, he was part of handshakes. But for some reason, he came here and it didn't seem to want to be a part of that. I don't know why. I don't think it's because he didn't like the guys. Again, maybe it was because he said, you know what? This is business. I just got this big contract. I got to make sure I go out there and I produce. But maybe it was too business for what was already going on. But that's okay. They needed to find that balance. And again, shout out to Starling Marte, who stepped up. You know what I'm saying? And tried to bring some comfort to Juan Soto. And tried to make him part of what was going on. But the Juan Soto that we got is not the Juan Soto we never really saw the shuffle. We could try to ignore it. There you go, guys. We never saw the shuffle. Why? Did he come here and say these guys mess around too much? So I got to show them that this is about business, and did that rub guys the wrong way? I don't know. But to me, blunt thought, I never really liked his demeanor, how he looked in the press conferences after the game. I never liked that he would be right in the dugout if somebody else hit a home run and he was on base. I didn't like it. Then towards the end, we saw that he would do with Pete. He would do a little handshake and stuff. It was one of them two. I didn't like, I've said it many times, that he didn't do this when he hit a home run. He really didn't do it much even with a hit. But everybody doesn't want to do a home run, and they do it twice. They do it towards the bullpen, and then they do it as they get to home plate. He didn't do it. Why? And I got guys like Sal telling me, oh, it's okay, who cares? Bro, this is why. This is why we care. This is why I was bringing it up then. Maybe if we brought it up and we were loud about it then, they would have got over it a little bit quicker. I don't know. Instead, now we got to hear about this crap now. Yeah, I know. What's his face? Vladdy Jr. I talked about that a million times in the Abriendo podcast. Vladdy talked about how he told Soto to tone it down. To hell with that. But anyways, let's go back to finish this article with these thoughts as Starling Marte steps in, right? And it says here, while most players accepted Soto's reclusive personality, Starling Marte didn't. He sometimes feels like he has to separate himself from us, Marte said. But no, I say he has to be closer. Throughout the season, Marte encouraged younger players to go up to Soto and pick his brain. He believed they may have been intimidated by Soto or scared to talk to him. Throughout the season, Marte encouraged younger players to go up to Soto and pick his brain. He believed they might have been intimidated by Soto or scared to talk to him. Now, it's not his fault, right? That's just the way he is. That's just the way he is. But again, it's a different dynamic. It's a different dynamic. Anyways, sometimes Marte said he would hit Soto on the head or punch him in the arm. It was his way of making sure Soto felt light and comfortable with his new team. Oh, but before that, to bond with each other and disconnect from work, Soto, Marte, and Mauricio played dominoes and video games in hotel rooms during road trips. Those are the same three guys that you saw hanging out at the end of the dugout most of the season. And then Jose Siri joined them at the end. Did anybody ever see Lindor and Soto in the dugout together? But we saw him with Machado and Tatis in San Diego. We saw him in Judge all the time. And again, listen, it is what it is. I didn't see Soto with nobody. I didn't see him with Pete Alonso, Nemo. But you saw Pete and Nemo with the hug that it bothered some people. Unbelievable at the end of the season. But it's okay. Again, two total opposite personalities. Here you have Juan Soto, a business guy, all business, but baseball business, between the white lines business, right? And then you have Francisco Lindor, who's all business, fashion, podcast with his wife, this, that, commercials. They're both gonna do that, but you know what I'm saying. So I'm pretty sure. Like, let's be honest, man. This is blunt thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. We've all been. Listen, we'll take it to work. We're not even gonna take it to but when we played in our infancy. Take it to work in your job. There's people you just don't get along with. I know you say, well, you gotta work anyways. I get it. But in some jobs you can work individually, it doesn't matter. Other jobs you need to work together, even though baseball is a very individual sport. We acknowledge that. You guys are tremendous. These fucking comments, unbelievable. But even to the point where we heard last season, right? And we know they were trying to carry it into the season about getting together as a team off the field, right? That was a big part of last year. And now here we bring a guy who's supposed to be one of the leaders, who's one of the whatchamacallit, the best players on the team who you look to for leadership. And he wants to be by himself. He just wants to come in and out and do his thing. That's going to be a little uncomfortable at first. Like, we get it, dude, but can you be a part of us? You know? We know. And listen, I respected it because it was different. He talked about how when he played for the Yankees for that 1 year, he lived out in Westchester, about 40 plus minutes away, because he wanted a built-in excuse to not to have to hang out. So if anybody called him, like, yo, let's go hang out in the city or whatever, he said, nah, I'm too far. I'm good. Is he still living all the way out there? I wonder. I've been wondering that. Did he move closer? Is that still his mentality? Now we know that most of the time, these events, these dinners, these outings amongst teammates happen on the road. So there's a good chance those things happen anyways, because on the road you're all in the same hotel and hey, listen, let's do this. But again, let's wrap this up. Let's wrap this up because I want to do Pete Alonso real quick. Sometimes Marte said he would hit Soto on the head. Blah, blah, blah. Some players are different. Nothing we could do with that, Marte said. But something I can do is talk to him. Tell him to come close to us. Jog with us. Listen to that. Jog with us. What? Jog with us. Jog with us. Why should that be a thing? Bring more energy or emotion, I tell him. I want to see you smiling more. It's something that maybe you feel pressure, but it's something you can take away by talking to us, laughing with us. I want to see that. But no rush. No rush. When you feel like you can do it, you do it. Soto appreciated Marte taking him under his wing this season. He helped me big time in the transition to the Mets, Soto said. He's the guy who I'm talking to every day, teaching me and showing me the Mets way. Starling Marte is showing you the Mets way. No wonder he said Starling Marte was the captain. Or Starling Marte should be the captain, or whatever the hell he said. But again, it's okay. Everybody takes different leadership roles. Everybody takes little different roles. Lindor credited Soto for being able to filter out any distractions in his first year with the Mets, and Soto's narrow focus seemed to help the slugger record a career-best 43 home runs and 38 stolen bases this year. Soto focused on putting up good numbers and helping the team win, Lindor said, which was a departure from how the shortstop navigated his first season in Queens. In his 2021 debut season, Lindor recorded career lows in batting average, OPS. Unlike Soto, Lindor had a difficult time adjusting to the higher expectations and pressures of playing in New York. And here's the wrap-up. He's completely different than how I was, Lindor said. I try to hug too much, and he doesn't mean hugging people. He means hugging, not, you know what I'm saying, letting stuff out, I guess, or whatever. And he has a good understanding of what he can hug and stay within that. He hasn't changed once. So he's definitely ahead of where I was, and he's ahead of his age too. Even if it didn't show up in Soto's numbers, getting acclimated to a new team carries its own weight. That goes the other way too. For some teammates, Soto's business-like attitude could be intimidating. Here's that again. With Marte's help, Soto came out of his shell a little more. It's possible the superstar just need more time to get used to what he characterized as the Mets way. It's my fourth different team. It's my fourth different team in 4 years. So I've been learning that things are going to happen organically, Soto said. I don't have to push it. I don't have to try. For me, the talks are going to come whenever you sit down with your teammates, go out for dinners and stuff like that. We've been doing that already this year. So that answers your question, Hector. We've been doing that already this year and getting to know each other a little bit more. But like I said, it will happen organically. You can't try to make it happen. And that's that. So to me, the bottom line is I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I don't think you need any damn sources. I don't think we need to throw religion in there, how Cintron tried to do. This was obvious that there was, but who didn't know that it was going to take time? Right? Who didn't know that was going to take a little bit of time? The problem is when anybody brought it up, because some people get caught up in the trolls and the Yankee fans are gonna have fun. Oh, that's because SNY is owned by the Wilpons. Oh, that's because Martino's a Yankee fan. So people want to dismiss everything when these people bring it up. Oh, Sal's looking for clicks. Oh, Hector's a fraud. That guy himself went after my guy Sal, talking about Sal. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. But now he's talking about, my sources. I dismissed it then. Yeah, I get it, Junior. The failed comedian Saponaro, who continues to try to come after me because I talked about these things early on, right? But now here it is. But guess what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It matters because there was no production, yes. It matters because of where they ended up. At the end of the day, it would all be figured out organically. It'll take care of itself. I'm confident of that. I'm upset that it took this season. I didn't think it would take that. I didn't think it would take that. But I ask you guys this, especially those that were so loud about how someone was the leader of this team and the unquestioned captain. Why couldn't you resolve this sooner? Doesn't matter now. What matters is what happens going forward. And that they learn how to coexist and lead this team to where we want them to go. That's what needs to happen. I see you guys talking about the coaches. We'll see what happens with that. Daniel Murphy as head coach? I don't know. Ron Washington as bench coach? I don't know. What I do know is changes need to be made. Changes definitely need to be made. Changes to the roster. Changes to the rotation. To the pitching staff. In my opinion, David Stearns needs to get out of his comfort zone, like I've been saying, and go out there and get a horse for this rotation. Go out there and get an unquestioned number one. Do not rely on Kodai Senga. He said it himself. He said it. We can't rely on Kodai Senga. Maybe not in those words, but he said it. Don't rely on Sean Manaea being able to come back and being that ace. Go out there and get an unquestioned ace. If not, what Ken is saying, we're all going to say Stearns is garbage. Right? Stearns is garbage. Now, listen. I wasn't somebody that was a David Stearns guy to begin with. But I'm also not someone who's going to say, oh, they need to fire him after 2 years. I don't understand that comment, Junior, about Jeff's fiery personality to unite the team. That's not his personality. He's not someone to unite the team. Obviously. But I did see your comment before about whether it's a PR or a DR thing with Soto and Lindor. If we're honest, can we dismiss it? If we're really honest, can we dismiss it? Like there couldn't be some of that going on? But I don't know. There's always that natural rivalry. As Latino as we are, as close as we may be, we are very different in how we see certain things. So there could be some natural friction there. I'm confident they'll figure it out. And to me, anything is fair game. I don't know if you can go there, Diarrhea. I don't know if you can go there. I don't know if you can bring Iglesias back. They need to figure that shit out some other way. You're not gonna bring Jose Iglesias back here now. Come on. Now that's the thing right there. That's the guy they may need to bring back is Marte. As a righty bat off the bench, not as like the primary righty DH, but as a guy off the bench, as a veteran. I agree, Cindy. That's why I don't think we should be changing managers. Everybody needs to be better. Everybody needs to be better. Now, you just said that Pete Alonso has played for 4 managers on the New York Mets. He may have played for his last. So as we get out of here, as we've gone over an hour, and I didn't want to go this long, let's quickly listen to Pete Alonso, because I want to listen to this whole press conference, because I think it's unfair. I think it's unfair, extremely unfair, how people reacted to Pete Alonso simply answering a question towards the end of his media availability after the game on Sunday. Right? Now, Pete is standing there with eye black on. Pete is standing there still with his blue mesh shirt. Obviously, not having taken a shower or nothing yet. Probably was still with his baseball pants on, if not the underpants. Yet to some people, it was the end of the world, and Pete was out of line because he answered a question. Nonsense. Let's listen to Pete.
Pete, you guys were so confident all year that you'd get it fixed and turned around. What is the level of surprise? How stunning is it that it didn't end up happening?
Yeah, I mean, it's just one game. It just shows the value of what one game means over the course of 162 games. I mean, you look at today, but honestly, I mean, I don't know. There's quite a handful of opportunities like throughout the year that stand out in my mind. It's not just today. You know, I mean, I mean, not every loss is. I mean, there's obviously some ones where it's like, hey, there's no coming back. There's no, hey, we just straight up lost. But that happens over the course of a season. But yeah, there's a lot more that you like, man, there's a lot more meat left on the bone where it's like, man, if we did this or that. I remember talking with you, I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, but it wasn't like necessarily one thing. It was just like one thing here, one thing here. It was just like a little bit of everything kind of, or it's like something different. It wasn't just one thing throughout the course of the year. So
Darn it. I liked how Pete answered that there. He acknowledged that there were little things that they could have done, and there were games that they let get away that they shouldn't have. That's a good thing. It shouldn't happen. But now learn from it. Learn that those games in April and May matter just as much as the games in September. Because for years, this team has been telling us through the players, different players, going all the way back to Dom Smith, about games don't matter in April as much as they do in September. Nonsense. Let's get back to this.
And everything kind of, or it's like something different. It wasn't just one thing throughout the course of the year. So, I mean, it's really, it's kind of beyond frustration. I think it's just straight up disappointing, and there's no other way to sugarcoat it, and it's just the way it is. I mean, again, super talented team, and the reality is we fell short. I mean, we didn't even get to October. We fell short.
You've been a part in your time here of some really excellent teams, and then some teams that were talented but didn't reach expectation.
For how long
is there any through line or any similarity between the ones that don't get there despite what looks to be a playoff roster?
I mean, it's different personnel, so sometimes it's tough to say, but just from like this year, it's like I feel like when we were playing our best baseball, it's like we were everything was hitting on all cylinders, and when things weren't necessarily like the really, really good teams that have been a part of, we've been able to kind of like patch holes where it's like we would be able to pick each other up. Like, let's say someone makes an error in the field, but pitcher bears down, or let's say pitcher gives up 2 or 3 runs, hitters erase the deficit, or at least getting a like scratching 1-1 across. Like we'll get like, I mean, again, it's like just the we didn't really do a good job of kind of like cutting down deficits and eliminating bounce back runs and kind of covering each other's miscues. 'Cause, I mean, it's going to happen. Like miscues happen, mistakes happen, not just in one game, but over the course of the year. It's just when you go over a long period of time with those, I mean, the devil's in the details. And I mean, again, it's one game. It's so small, but like in baseball, if you miss by an inch, it feels like a mile. And this one game, if you look at throughout the course of the year, it's like there's however many examples in the loss column that we have where we could have easily had an extra couple victories.
Bingo.
How much of that is on the coaches and how much of that is on the players?
I don't really know. I mean, it's kind of just. I mean, I haven't even reflected really on anything. It's just kind of like the last out's made. It's just kind of like it's just kind of tough to wrap your mind around because like the entire year you're working for something, and then just for us not to earn the right to go to the postseason, like it was never in anyone's mind that we'd be in the spot. So I think like I don't even know. I haven't even had time to reflect on that. I mean, it's a good. I'm sorry. It's just a good question.
He's spoken for 3 minutes and 52 seconds so far, ladies and gentlemen, with questions in between. Have you heard anything about him opting out? Yeah, that's what he said. That's what he said, Chris. The devil's in the details. Has anybody heard him say anything about opting out? But it was put out there as if Pete came out and said, yeah, I'm opting out. I can't wait. I can't wait to opt out. Again, the guy's still wearing eye black. Giving you in-depth answers as to where things may have broken down. And when he doesn't have an answer, Freddie's saying, don't really have an answer for that. The people would have murdered this guy. And he still has his eye black. Still has his Mets blue shirt. Did anybody notice Juan Soto in his post-game press conference? Anyways.
A talented team. Is there anything about the personality that could have been different? Any more edge or any more passion that you could have?
I don't think edge or passion was. I mean, playing with these guys every single day. I mean, there was no question of heart or passion or want, desire, work ethic. Like there's, you can have all those things, and just that doesn't guarantee success. I mean, again, you can be the most dispassionate person ever, but if you go 4 for 4 and drive in 10 runs, then it doesn't matter because that helps the team win. But just because you're passionate doesn't guarantee positive results. So
he's right about that.
I mean, and we had plenty of effort. We had belief. We worked hard, but again, just because you work hard, you do the right things, you have a good process. That doesn't guarantee wins, and wins equals results. And obviously, people are going to be upset and let down by that. So. I mean, that's a really tough life lesson. Just because you work hard doesn't necessarily mean that you're guaranteed results. You got to find a way to perform and get results.
What are your thoughts about your future with this?
Thank you, Pete. Now, I hope you guys do that. Because, again, I've been saying this for years, man. Sometimes they keep talking about working hard and the process. Well, sometimes you need to evaluate how hard you're working, what kind of process. Maybe you're working too hard. Maybe you're not working hard enough. Maybe you're working too hard the wrong way, on the wrong thing. Maybe your process isn't right. So, I don't know, Chris. That's the best I've ever heard him speak, honestly. There's a lot of times I don't want to hear Pete speak. Let's get back to that. Let's finish this up. And again, we still haven't heard about him opting out, right? We still haven't heard about him opting out. Well, here it comes.
Perform and get results.
What are your thoughts about your future with this franchise?
I mean, for me, like I mean, playing for this organization, the city. I mean, it's really. I mean, for me, they've continued to believe in me, and I mean, I've loved playing here. There's some great guys in this clubhouse. There's some great people in the staff, and I mean, every single day, it's just been a pleasure coming to work and putting on the orange and blue. So for me, it's. Yeah, I mean, I've really appreciated and been nothing but full of gratitude every single day. So, I mean, nothing's guaranteed, but I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, I've loved being a Met, so hopefully they've appreciated me the same.
you expect to opt out of your contract?
Yes.
What's going to matter the most to you in free agency?
And that was it. That was it right there. You probably didn't even hear it. After he said all of that, the question was, so are you opting out? And he said, yes. Yes. Let's see if you can hear it. Because I don't think you can hear it.
So, nothing's guaranteed, but we'll see what happens. I've loved being a Met, so hopefully they've appreciated me the same.
Do you expect to opt out of your contract?
Yes.
What's going to matter the
That
most
was
to
it.
you in free agency?
That's what
good
everybody's
question.
losing their mind
I
about.
think the biggest thing is, I want to win. I want to win, and if I want to be able to, I know we didn't this year, but we had the right pieces. I think we just didn't do it. So for me, I think at the beginning of the year, you just want to have the best possible chance to hold up the trophy at the end and see yourself being a champion. So for me, that's so I do this. I want to be on top of the mountain. I want to win a World Series. So for
We want to
me,
get rid of this guy.
that's the ultimate goal.
You said a lot of nice things about being here and the staff and the players. Does that mean we can assume that means you want to come back?
No, I've definitely thought about it and be great. But again, we'll see what happens with everything. Again, there's no guarantees. But for me, I've appreciated it here, and the fans have been awesome. I've grown up in this organization, and I've what I've done here. I'm really proud of the mark I've left. I want to be the best teammate and best player I possibly can be, not just for the people here, but for the franchise and for the fans. So it'd be great. But again, we'll see what happens.
Just what goes through your mind when that 116 mile per hour ball gets caught?
You don't want to be in my mind for that one. That stunk because I don't know how. I think that's the hardest ball I hit this year, and I thought for sure it was a double, and we were going to get rolling there. But that's great scouting on their part, and hell of a play by who's that out there, Snoha.
This is a great interview by
hell of a
Pete.
play by him to track it down. That absolutely stunk.
Looked like Lindor came over and said something to you that kind of made you smile after that. What did he say?
No, he's just like, hey, you're going to get another chance. And I knew I knew he's right. It was only my third at bat, but I'm just smiling. I'm like, it's because it's it's the hardest ball I've hit this year, and it split the gap perfectly, but he tracked it down. So, it was just kind of like laughing is, it's not funny, but that's the only thing I can do.
And even that, people hate it. Like, what is he supposed to do at that point? Nobody. There's nobody. Yeah, bring back Josh Sand. That's what they might as well bring back. Bring back Josh Sand. Listen, I said it before. I put out a post, and again, you got idiots. That's what I'm going to call it. The failed comedian who wants to talk nonsense because I said Peter Alonso and the Mets need to come to an agreement with, Steve Cohen and the Mets need to come to an agreement with Peter Alonso as soon as possible. Did I say today? Do I need to educate everybody? I'm pretty sure most of you know he has not officially opted out. He answered a question. He cannot opt out until after the World Series. Okay? So that's the first thing. Obviously, we know he's represented by Scott Boras, and those negotiations usually take time. I don't care. Proactive instead of reactive. Proactive instead of reactive. I don't want to hear about market value. I don't want to hear about none of that garbage. Go out there and show this guy some respect. Did you guys see earlier today on SNY what Jim Duquesne's projection is for a contract? Have you guys seen what Spotrac has it? 5 years, 175, Jim Duquesne said. 5 years, 175. He turned down 7 for 175 3 years ago. And people thought he was dumb. Peter Alonso won, you idiots. Pete Alonso won. And for everybody that told me, you're a dummy, Hector, why would you want to extend him? Let the season play out. Steve Cohen has the money. Now you same idiots don't want to give him what it's going to take to bring him back. And the truth is, I probably won't even be comfortable with what it's going to take. But he's going to deserve it because he was disrespected, and I don't give a damn what anybody says. The New York Mets and David Stearns disrespected Pete Alonso, and he feels that way. And like I said in the spaces, it doesn't matter if you agree. It doesn't matter if you thought he was disrespected. It doesn't matter even if I thought he was disrespected. He feels disrespected, and that's all that matters. That's all that matters. And I don't play like I have sources. And I probably shouldn't say this because this was by chance. But I was sitting in the last week of the season, and somebody that works with Scott Boras and handles Pete and a couple other guys in the Mets was talking to some friends. And I just happened to be an eavesdropper. And I happened to be wearing this jersey. And he said to the people that he was talking to, because he wasn't sitting next to me, he came and said that to talk to some people. And he told them, Pete Alonso feels disrespected. And I'm sorry, buddy, but I don't even know your name. And this is what caught my attention. And I probably shouldn't say this because it's going to be taken the wrong way. He said, I was on a flight with Pete Alonso on a team flight a couple of weeks ago. And he told the president, I don't give a fuck about wearing this uniform. You think I give a fuck about this uniform? I want my respect. You take that for how you want to take it. And again, it ain't even a source. I just happen to hear it. But I told him. I said, yo, you see what I'm wearing? He said, dude, they disrespected Pete. I said, I know. I'm with you. I agree. But damn, I don't really want to hear that. Now, he did go on to say that Pete loves the city. Pete loves the fan. Pete loves the organization. Pete is not happy with how he was treated. And there will be no hometown discount. There will be no hometown discount. So, David Stern and Steve Cohen, step the F up. Step the F up because there is no replacement for Pete Alonso. There is no replacement. You can take that run prevention crap and shove it. You need to produce some damn runs. And nobody did that more for you on this team than Pete Alonso in 2024. Exactly. Exactly. Again, go out there and give him his worth. Go out there and give him his worth. Forget about the damn market. Forget about the damn market. If you guys really want him as much as you say you do, that shouldn't have mattered. That shouldn't have mattered. And I understand negotiation. I understand all that garbage. But look at where that's got us. Yeah, you could say that. It didn't mean that the Mets had to disrespect him. It didn't mean that the Mets had to disrespect him. Sometimes you just do what's right. Who, me? Are you out of your mind? Are you out of your mind? There ain't gonna be no GM. But I do know we need to bring P back. I do know we need to bring P back. Oh boy. Like always, this took a lot longer than I wanted it to, or that I planned on. And I don't even know if I followed the guideline that I wanted to follow, but I damn sure know that I think I hit all the points that I wanted to hit. One, David Stearns, you effed up. You owned up to it. Now go out there and do the damn thing. Get me a freaking ace, bro. Get me a freaking ace. I'm done with the reclamation projects. Francisco Lindor and Juan Soto. Much ado about nothing. is their natural yes, whatever that is. But it'll be all right. It'll be all right. Because at the end of the day, both those guys want to win. And both those guys are here for a long time. Both those guys will be here a long time. But David Stearns needs to do a better job of bringing guys in here that can help that along. Naturally. Now, that's hard to find. But it's your job, not mine. And lastly, Pete Alonso merely answered a question. Shut the fuck up, Junior. Pete Alonso. Organically, exactly. I hate you guys. Yo, bring Pete back. That's what I'm going to say. Bring Pete back. I don't know when I'll be back, but it might be soon. It might not. I said yesterday I was going on a break, and here we are again today. And I maybe got one or two more things planned before we go on a break. Or maybe we just go on a break. Who the hell knows? Blunt thoughts is all over the place. But we appreciate you, man. Over 300 of you beautiful people coming up in here. I'm sure that's going to make the clown happy. Because I think that's what really bothers the clown. And I mean the comedian, the failed comedian, is the fact that consistently, more of you join me than join him. But anyways, I don't even know why I'm paying that cornball any mind. But here's some content for you. Here's some content for you to have fun with. Clip it. Do whatever the hell you want. I'm sick and tired of your nonsense. Anyways, have a good evening, everybody. And hopefully, these Red Sox could pull off this W and knock these damn Yankees out. I hopefully provided some distraction to that nonsense for those Met fans that don't really want to watch that. But you know I'm hate watching. Anyways, good night, everybody. And as always, let's go Mets, baby. Peace.
Full of animals and we made ourselves with minimal. Fuck you, no subliminals. Putting in this work, nigga. That's why they feelings hurt, nigga. Swear we need a hearse cause we rep our shites to the dirt, nigga. If I'm in the club,